breathwork and meditation are very different, but sometimes people think breathwork and meditation are the same thing or very much aligned, but then breathwork is more physical, it's much more faster, much more effective. What's the main difference between breathwork and meditation for our listeners?
With breathwork, it's a lot more kind of targeted, and you can do a lot more with it in the sense that it's really going to start changing systems in your body. So it's going to really start helping with your emotional health, your mental health, your physical health. I would definitely I mean, maybe I'm biased, but I would say breathwork.
In my experience, there is this whole misunderstanding about breathwork and meditation, that breathwork can only be used for meditation purposes or to calm down. What's the difference between breathwork and meditation? How do you see them different? And I have my also research and also a lot of things, of course, to share. Breathwork and meditation are very different, but sometimes people think breathwork and meditation are the same thing or very much aligned, but then breathwork is more physical, it's much more faster, much more effective. It's more to prevent. I think breathwork is the most powerful preventive tool on earth. It's not to heal symptoms, but to prevent you from having anxiety or stress or attention deficit problems. Because with daily breathwork, you can reach to sustainable health and well-being. You can stay strong and healthy mentally, physically, emotionally, and that's what we're after. So that would be a question I would like to ask you. What's the main difference between breathwork and meditation for our listeners?
Well, I would say, so with meditation, it's quite a lot more passive, it's sort of more of a mindful, sort of getting to know what's going on in your body, observing, being present. So there's not, obviously you're following your breath, you're breathing, but with breath work, it's a lot more kind of targeted, and you can do a lot more with it in the sense that it's really going to start changing systems in your body. So it's going to really start helping with your emotional health, your mental health, your physical health. And it is a lot more kind of proactive, I would say, rather than that meditation is kind of like, being with your body and sort of checking in what's going on and being present. But breathwork goes that step further. And it really is about, well, I see it as well in this modern day, it's really about starting to hack our physiology and starting to make changes, because in our world now, like, for example, if we were living as our ancestors did, however many hundreds of years ago, maybe more, we wouldn't really, it's my belief, we wouldn't need to be working with the breath quite as much as we are. Like for now, because of everything that's going on, our sensory overload, our inputs, they're just constantly with the phones and emails and the workloads. Now more than ever, it's really, really important to actively hack our physiology, because otherwise, if we don't, it's so crucial, because if we don't, then we're going to just get into a worse and worse place. So yeah, I would say that's kind of the main kind of difference, I'd say. And I find that they work really well together. I find that doing breath work before meditation is great, because it's a more physical thing of, it can really get you to that place mentally a bit quicker as well, getting yourself more present, because you're actually really working with your physiology, you're really working with the nervous system a bit more strongly. And then to come into meditation after that, I always find is a really good kind of pairing. So they go really nicely hand in hand, but ultimately are quite different. So that's kind of the main thing that I always think of, the difference between the two.
Yeah, agree. Yeah. And I'm going to ask you, what do you think is easier to practice for the corporate environment, for the employees? Like, is breathwork easier to practice for some people in a comfort corporate environment, or meditation? What do you think?
I would definitely, I mean, maybe I'm biased, but I would say breathwork, because for this one of the
me too.
Yeah, for the simple fact, well, there are lots of different reasons, but one of the main reasons of, people at work, they've got so much going on, their minds are racing. If you just ask them to sit there and, just focus on your body. And their minds are probably still going to be racing. They know they've got lots to do. They know the workload is heavy. With the breath, it gives them an anchor for the mind, as well as actually making those changes physically in the body. And it allows them to kind of cut into that relaxation a lot more quickly. And it's providing them something. Obviously, I do some guided work in the corporate world, but then I also give them tools to take away, and it gives them a guide, something proactive to do, rather than sometimes I think meditation, if you've got a busy mind, you've got lots going on, to ask someone to just sit and be present, and it's not always available for people. If they've got a very active mind, what they need to do is they need to work with the nervous system quite actively to start down regulating, and also when they're doing breath work, move into a different brainwave state where they're not in this real high functioning high beta, which is
but they're not calmed down as well, I think. Because with meditation and breath work, I think the main difference is, with meditation or breathwork techniques used for meditation, you get into this very calm state. But again, with other techniques that are going to change your chemistry or change the oxygen levels, you still are very much centered, but you're awake and centered. It's not like calming down. I think there is it's like that's of course both an opinion and an experience of a teacher, who has taught more than 40,000 people. In my experience, there is this whole misunderstanding about breath work and meditation, that breath work can only be used for meditation purposes or to calm down. But actually, what I've found out over the years is, especially in a corporate environment, the reason why they don't get meditation, some corporates do, or some corporates choose that as well, if they have problems like relaxing at night, sleeping problems, not being able to too much stress. Of course, calming down or breathing techniques that are used to calm down and meditate are great. But in the corporate environment, I see more and more that people want to get rid of their stress, be more balanced emotionally, but they don't want to calm down.
Yeah.
Because too much calming down, it's like that meditation and meditative techniques, they are great at night, but I see more and more people and more companies that are asking for techniques that will help employees increase their performance rather than calming down, like get them balanced. Too much emotional imbalance happening, triggers, anxiety, panic attack. So the question with the companies nowadays are, okay, is meditation or meditative breathing techniques are the only way, to heal anxiety or panic attack? Can't people just be centered and full of energy? Do we have to calm down? To ease anxiety? So I see, that's why in my experience I see more and more, because we have, with Breath Hub as well, we have corporate packages, and we regularly have meetings and also some introductory workshops with the companies. And there are two things I see, and I'm going to ask them whether you see that happening as well. The first thing is companies don't want their employees to fully be relaxed, and that's the reason why meditation package they are not choosing. There are some companies that are like no to meditation and meditative techniques and relaxing techniques, because they don't simply want their employees to be relaxed and letting go during the day. You know what I mean? They want their employees to perform better and be healthier. So more and more I see this demand of there are a lot of attention deficit problems, concentration issues, focusing issues. People are tired. People are overwhelmed. Too much work, too many things out there in life, in social media, at home, at work, everywhere, for emotional triggers happening, and also, to lead into people not being able to concentrate fully to their to their work. And I see more and more this need for a technique or for a tool, which is, I believe, breath work, which will give people energy, which will help them get focused and concentrated, which will help them to get centered immediately, and which will help them to go on with their daily lives, but like maybe in the middle of the day practicing the method, and then you wake up, as you woke up that morning, you're fresh. Like this need to freshen up. The companies need kind of like a reset button during the day, not kind of which will put you into sleep like meditation or relaxation, but more like how can we keep everyone awake, but again centered and fully on, and that tool is breath work. That there is no other tool that can do that. Instead of if you don't increase your oxygen levels in your brain, that's why people start feeling a bit weird and they're thinking and foggy and concentration issues. And then the second thing I'm seeing more and more, it's like there is this bias around meditation, and meditation practices are now seen more kind of like spiritual, but like with breath work and with breathing techniques, it's more kind of like down to earth. I see, I find it easier to explain because I'm a meditation teacher and a breathwork teacher.
Yeah.
I mean, my experience, because I am, I love the whole meditation experience, and I'm a classic Vedic meditation teacher. I spend at least an hour meditating, so it's like it's my thing. But so there is no like breathwork is better than meditation, because I love them both and I teach them both. But especially in the corporate environment, I see more and more people asking for, give me a technique. I don't want to just spend 20 minutes for, I do, but many people, I don't have the time to spend 50 minutes or 20 minutes for meditation. I want a technique that will center me, balance my emotions, give me the energy I want, like a reset button that will freshen me up in 3 minutes, 5 minutes. And I see a lot of demand for breath work in the corporate environment. It's like they don't know that they're demanding breath work, but they are demanding breath work. It's like, I need a reset button. I need a tool to freshen up, What do you think about everything I said?
What do you think about everything? Well, it's that's why it's so important to empower people with different techniques for different scenarios, being so specific about, okay, here's a great technique for if you've got a big work meeting and you're feeling really lethargic, or if you've got a big work meeting and you're feeling really stressed, then you can slightly downregulate. It's just all about empowering people to work, to teach them about their nervous systems, then allowing them to be like, okay, how do I work with this? If I'm feeling in this state, how do I change that to shift into this state? Or if I'm feeling like that, how do I, so that then they can start to be quite empowered. And you can really, what's just so amazing about breath work is that you can, more often than not, really just choose the state you want to be in via the breath, which in meditation, you don't really, it's sort of it is more just all about the calming down or, centering. Whereas with breath work, you can have a technique which is going to focus you, but it's also going to bring you to your body. It's going to make you feel centered at the same time because you're coming back to the body and you're focusing on that. So it's a kind of beautiful double thing that's going on. But even just teaching people how to breathe properly, because if just from moment to moment, day to day, without even adding the techniques as well, it's like if people are breathing, through their mouth, their connections in the brain between the different regions in the brain are disorganized. Even the simple act of breathing in and out through the nose is going to improve that cognitive function. It's just like there's just even that, just empowering people. Okay, what is the right way to be breathing day to day, moment to moment? Because a lot of people don't know. And even that, trying to retrain the body a little bit and check in throughout the day, am I breathing in the right way? Am I breathing, then that's going to also, even that level is going to help people with their performance at work and their energy and their oxygen levels and all that before we even get into the specific techniques. So I've sort of wandered off on a tangent. I don't even know where I went. But I don't know whether that's answered your question or not. But
yeah, it definitely did.